London Market Forums, bringing insurance professionals together.
So I'm going to talk to you about Josh quickly. Josh is my godson, and he got a job with a broker fairly recently. And I gave him a month. He got a first out of UCL in economics. And he went along and he sat down in their North American property department. And I took him out for lunch after a month and, how's it going, Josh? And he said, man, what's the matter with you people? And I said, what have they got you doing? He said, I'm on a North American property facility. And I said, what does that mean? He said, it's small business, less than £5 of brokerage. And I said, so what's the problem? He said, we prepare a piece of paper for every single declaration, and there's thousands of them. We hand crank this stuff. He said, I've just come out of university thinking I'm getting a sparkling career in insurance, and I'm lugging paper over to Lloyd's. What the hell's going on? So I said, just relax, Josh, I got you. I'm in tech now, okay? So preparing for the future is not easy, right? We're trying to get talent into this business. And does the talent want to be walking over to Lloyd's? Do they want to be hand cranking this stuff? We look round. I was at one of the big brokers in 2017 for a year, and we walk around the floor in the morning, and I watch people that are getting paid, good six-figure salaries, and for 4 hours of their day, they're a typist. And I kid you not. And they've got two screens, they've got an incoming submission on one, and they've got their core system rolled up, and they're sitting there like this. 100 grand for 4 hours of their day, half their working day. That's an expensive typist in EC3, right? So if we're going to get new people in, we want to get people with skills. We want to train them up, and we want them to be doing skilled work. I can't imagine a brain surgeon spending half his day filling out administrative paperwork. We want him opening heads and fixing people. But in insurance, we don't seem to embrace that. So, if we're going to get out of the way of ourselves and really embrace the technology, and I say the previous speakers have just come and blown my mind in a lot of aspects. This stuff exists. Have we got the budget for it? Have we got the appetite for it? Have we got the wherewithal for it? Have we got the ability to unlock 30, 50 years of legacy systems through acquisition? Maybe, maybe not. But we want our people out hunting. We know that much. We want our people doing their job, which is to be an insurance expert, and we know that much. We don't want them being an expensive administrator. So what's coming? What have we got to look forward to by 2025? Now, I'm hopeful that Josh, in 2025, is going to see a digital marketplace. So John Neal, one of his central tenets of his speech, of his paper, was a digital marketplace. Now, am I unrealistic enough to think that what I call the 3 C's business, the big capacity, the really complex placements, and what if we say politely, the challenged business that comes into this market, is going to get renewed or dealt with by a bot or triaged, or not a chance? When did you lock a broker and underwriter in a room, give them beer and pizza, knock yourselves out? 3 weeks later, they'll come out with, poor old Boeing, imagine doing that renewal, that's going to be a barrel of laughs. So we've got to be sympathetic, and whilst we want to introduce the future, we've got to be a little sympathetic to the past. People still want to submit stuff via a written form or a typed form. We've just got to work out ways to digitize and move forward. So in 2025, what are we hoping to see? As I say, we're hoping to see the digital marketplace. Are we hoping to see any submission coming into the marketplace not being accepted unless it's in a digital format? Wow, there's a revolutionary idea. Let's digitize the proposal form. Can we manage that? Not a hope in hell at the moment. Why? Because we, as a group and a collective, it's very, very hard to come to a common agreement on standardization. But these are the things I think we should be doing. So we look for the drivers of change. What's coming down the track? What's going to push us into making these big, hard decisions? We know everybody's talking 40% acquisition costs at the moment, and that's a huge driver. But are we equating that back to what perhaps we should be spending on technology? If we move that dial 10 points, what's that worth to your organization? Should we reinvest that money into technology? Should we try and unwind the problems of legacy, which I know are big barriers for many organizations, and stop them from moving forwards? We're looking at, we do a lot of business in Latin America, and amazingly, we see green screens in some of the offices in some of the countries. But their willingness to move from that to the cutting-edge technology blows me away. And when I walk around the square mile and talk to people, I'm not too sure, it's a bit radical. So if we're going to get in front of this, I think we've got to be a lot more embracing of some of the things the previous speakers have talked about. This tech exists. We know the technology is coming. We all look at King's Cross and the 150 people that that big behemoth is employing. We know they're coming. They're going to eat our lunch in the personal line space sooner or later. It's just a matter of time. But in the commercial space, I think we do have the opportunity to get in front of that. And then, of course, we've got the good old regulator who's insistent upon driving that 40% up to 45%. So when we go along to people and we talk, and this is, again, from a C-suite perspective, we sit in the boardroom and say, what does digital transformation mean to you? Well, I want to sit down with my CEO and I want to tell him I've digitized professional indemnity. Yay, digital transformation. That's digital transformation, in my opinion, with a big D and a small t. And what I'm saying is, for 2025, and somebody a moment ago, I think it was this gentleman, said he'd just started a 5-year plan with a bunch of things going on, is the digital transformation piece and getting us to where we need to be by 2025, 2030 needs to start right now. And it's a small d. The digital is part of it, but the transformationary piece is the bigger part of it. It's how do we do more with the same or less? What can we do? What can we commoditize? You look at the Lloyd's portfolio, 50% is scheme business, 4,500 cover holders pumping business in, all with manual bordereau. Luckily there's Tide, but I won't go on to about that too much. So when we look at that, and we look at our typical organisations, if we have got 50% that's commoditizable in the commercial line space, I'm sticking to that, not the personal line space, let's blooming well commoditise it, digitise it, automate it. My CEO bangs on at me about automatically paying claims, which is all very well in the travel space or personal line space, but a lot of that stuff isn't even worth touching. Just pay it. Don't even look at it, just pay it. Run some fraud software, but just pay it, get out of the way. Let the technology do the lifting. So when we talk to people, and this is the challenge to you today, is when you're thinking about digital transformation, transformation is the piece. It's not about doing it the same. It's not about poor old Josh lugging paper off to Lloyd's. It's about fundamentally changing the way we transact our business. I really want to standardise proposal forms for as many classes of business as possible. And I constantly get pushback. No, Lawrence, you don't understand, we're special. We're a marine, we're an aviator. Whoa, okay. So then we start running exercises of comparing proposal forms. Let's take 20 professional indemnity proposal forms and examine the material questions in that question set. Guess what? There's about a 95% commonality hit rate. So yeah, the 5%, the nice to haves, pick that up after you bound the risk if you want to. But if we standardise, digitise, we can create a digital marketplace. Then we can create automatic rating templates. You can have all your own individualism around your formulaic logic, your conditional logic, your underwriting logic, but if we standardise the template for underwriting business, let's stick to SME classes in the commercial line space, we can instantly start putting capacity and linking it to distribution. Wow, imagine that. Imagine 4,500 cover holders suddenly not getting one quote from one carrier, but getting 50 quotes from 50 carriers in a digital market. This is coming. So again, the challenge is, with your digital transformation, as I think it was Ian said earlier, cutting the business up into chunks, we can commoditize all this. The 3 C's business, that's slightly hard, and we'll come on to that in a second. So what are the questions? How do we get to 2025? What are we trying to achieve? We're trying to get better distribution from a global shop window. We're looking for better efficiencies to reduce that 40% margin. We want to get to market faster. We want to chuck a product out into the market, digital marketplace, try it for a week, watch it fall over, take it back, do something else, try again, fail fast.